Woo! What is going on?
Good to be back. It's good
Hey
to be back.
guys.
Absolutely. There's Jeff.
There's Jeff. You made it back.
Well, welcome.
That was a short 2 minutes. The heck.
That was Jeff. It goes quick. Hey, thank you guys for jumping in and joining us for Retro Rewind Season 2, Episode 12. We have a special episode today as it's Miz Tracey's birthday.
Happy birthday to Miz Tracey.
Thank you.
Oh, how are you guys doing? It's been 2 weeks, man. We got to get caught up. And we're going to start with you, Miz Tracey, since it's your birthday. What have you been up to?
Oh goodness. We had some birthday weekend shenanigans because I wanted to play with my friends, and then I'm also doing something tonight with Ryan. That's my spouse. And last night we had 7 Days to Die, and we gave them extra points where they're able to use the points to spawn zombies and loot and stuff in on us. So we got down to some shenanigans, playing a lot of 7 Days to Die. I started playing Valheim recently. That's a lot of fun. Looking into that Cult of the Lamb. Might want to play that one. That looks kind of
good.
Looks pretty sweet. But yeah, just been gaming. Not a whole lot else going on.
Awesome. Jeff, how about you, sir? I know you've been a busy boy.
Well, I did a thing yesterday and I picked up a little something.
Yay!
Ooh, the GameCube.
So another console to the hardware collection. And we got a little Frogger. We got a little Odama. We got.
Please correct us in the chat if that's not how you say that name. We were debating that backstage.
I made him look at the description. It looks like it's going to be an O.
It does, if you read the description. Yeah. Everyone tells me this Medal of Honor is.
Love it. I actually, if you don't want that, I will take that from you and give me an offer.
And then I got a little Lego Star Wars. And I have Resident Evil, and I think I have a Madden game, if memory serves, but it's been packed for so long I don't remember. So look for some September, big September coming up. I'm going to be doing a big giveaway. I'm going to be playing a lot of GameCube, a lot of stuff going on in September. September's going to be a busy month leading up to my birthday at the end of the month. So follow me on the Twitter, and you'll find out everything starting Thursday.
Right on. So what do you got planned for your birthday? Special stream, maybe?
I don't know. You gotta wait till find out.
Oh.
Well then,
it is a Monday, so
Yeah, exactly. That's the day I don't stream, so that's why we're doing birthday weekend stuff instead. And thank you guys for the birthday wishes in chat.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Ray Sherrod, what have you been up to, sir? I see you're looking healthy now, man.
Well, first of all, if you guys don't know, I did go on vacation, got back, had COVID, and I tested myself like 5 times and it kept coming up positive. So I am now negative, and it feels good to be back on the show and streaming again. What I've been playing Madden 23, Jeff's favorite game.
Jeff, what are you doing?
PlayStation 5. I've been playing, of course, you guys know Wreckfest. I've been playing some PUBG, and I've gotten into Destiny 2, starting to play that, and also I'm just glad to be back, man, and be healthy. You guys, please take care of your health. Mask up. Take care of yourselves, because it sucked laying on your back, not able to do anything. So I'm glad to be back. And then I want to send a special shout out to David Wilson. He's the $500 man. He won. We had a Stadia community contest, and he won. So I just want to send a huge shout out to David Wilson. Love you, brother.
He is the new all-purpose champ.
He is the new all-purpose champ.
Officially, he is the champ, and I gave him some a little advice in the morning, and he pulled it out, man. He is amazing. I can't believe he won the 500 bones. Hats off to you, David.
Hats off. Salute.
Well,
come on, SPG.
Miz Tracey, would you like to introduce our guests?
Yes, heck yeah. Which one's first?
Whoever you would like to start with.
Okay, well, let's go in the order that they showed up in. So we'll introduce Lighthawk first.
Okay.
Come on in, Lighthawk.
Boom.
Hey.
So this is Lighthawk. He plays a lot with me. He also streams himself over on Twitch. I think his link is in the description. And we're gonna. Do I ask the question now, or do I wait till they're both out here? Let's wait till they're both out here.
Yeah, okay. We could just introduce your next guest and then go from there.
And the next guest is Happy Axolotl.
Ooh, hi, Happy.
Hi, Happy.
Hi,
He
guys.
is a streamer. I think we met on Facebook originally, but now you're on Twitch too. So
yeah, it seems like 100 years ago now, but it's back in the Facebook days. Gosh, probably close to 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
That sounds right. Yeah, but it's great to be here, guys. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well,
thank
you both for making the time. We always start the show after we bring our guests in and ask basically one of the same questions because we get interesting answers. The first question is, what is retro and what does that mean to you? And we're going to start with Lighthawk. Go ahead and give us an answer, sir.
Retro means a lot of things to a lot of people, obviously, but for me personally, it's anything that really just pulls at that nostalgia string for you. It doesn't matter the genre, the platform, anything, just anything that kind of, turns that key that opens it up to where you were at this time when you're growing up. And that's how it really meant to me. For me, it was, like Zork 2. That was the first game I played. So it's like anytime I hear a reference or anything, it influenced a lot of the RPGs that we see today. So, I mean, it's just, it has such a special place in your heart. And any game that's, has a little age to it is from a previous time. I think that's what retro means to me.
Absolutely. It's funny you mentioned Zork. That's one of Jeff's favorite titles. I don't think he started with that, but it is one of his favorites. So Happy, same question to you.
I thought I was clever. I thought I was gonna have that. Like I thought
He's go over
thing. Yeah, I would say very similar on that front. Maybe just it's to me anything that's not currently on the market. I think we kind of touched on. I know I've heard you guys talk about that, where we all have that kind of like rolling timeline of gaming or literally anything really, and we're all kind of on a different. We all started our gaming journey maybe at a different time, so. It's kind of just unique to individuals. I guess to me, when I think of retro things, I think back to the like Sega Genesis days was really, a big one for me. But I think it could be anything that is something that has a special place in your heart, like from years prior. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I find it interesting when I play a new title, but it gives you that nostalgic retro feeling. I love that right off the bat. I really do. Miz Tracey, do you have any questions for them you'd like to get to right away?
Well, we were going to discuss something a little different today. We usually stick to mostly retro stuff, but this time, because it's my birthday and I wanted to talk about something that's like really important to me, we're also going to discuss accessibility in gaming. But first, we have a chat question for Happy. How did you come up with your name?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. Okay, without going too lengthy on this, when I started my streaming journey, if you will, something I found kind of historically in gaming in particular is you don't really get to choose like your nickname, so to speak. We can all come up with a clever, handle or whatever. And so I was trying to be very purposeful with like what I wanted people to kind of go to. And so happy was kind of the word I went with first, believe it or not. So the axolotls came second to that. So I was like, I really want like a name that I don't really know a lot of big streamers or big industry people using. And happy was kind of the vibe that I was trying to go for. So start with that. So that's just the vibes. That's what I really was hoping for. And so axolotls, like I was just looking for something to pair with that, and axolotls are the happiest little no thoughts, only happy guys that are around. So
now here's a big question. My wife and I discussed this before the show. Do you have one of those?
I don't. And most people when I meet ask this question. And so this has been like a year-long, maybe year and a half long journey. I have the setup for axolotl. So I have a giant like 60-gallon tank ready to go, and I've been working very slowly trying to figure that out. But with my current living space, it's just like it's such a big undertaking to pull the trigger on a 60-gallon tank that I'm kind of like I'm just like, well, I'm gonna give it some time. We'll see where it works. So it's in the works. It's in the works, everyone. Stay tuned.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. So what do you guys both stream real quick before it just will you fill us in just a little bit about yourself and your channel and what you guys stream? And then we can jump into the topic at hand. Starting with you, Happy. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I am very much a variety streamer. I try to own that up front. You're never gonna get much of a theme for me. The variety is the spice of life, and so my another thing I bring to the table as a gamer is a little bit of ADHD. So I really bounce around a lot. I'm really shifting here within the last month or two to kind of a little extended break, and so I'm moving more to focus towards more like role play and like tabletop gaming for my content. So I'm going to be moving a lot towards that. That's really just something I am very passionate about, and so I've always kind of felt like I had to stick with like what's cool and trendy in gaming to stream, but I'm actually trying to branch out a little bit and more like passion projects. So you're going to see a lot more of like tabletops and D&D and things like
Lovely.
that. Yeah.
Yes. How long have you been involved with D&D?
Oh goodness,
or tabletop?
This is fun. This is fun because I am celebrating like my 20th year anniversary of being a D&D campaigner. So yeah,
fantastic.
I started when I was 12 years old, and we've been going ever since. So yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, for those that are unfamiliar, role playing at tabletop games is so much fun. You get to get into character, you get to have interesting things happen, and if you have a good storyteller, just the possibilities are endless fun. It's amazing. Lighthawk, how about you?
So I play a lot of the same games that Miz Tracey plays, a lot of the sandbox survival, also anything by Gearbox, all of the Borderlands series. They're near and dear to my heart. Also, one of the big things that I grew up with, I still love, is the classic, Claptrap, is the classic JRPGs, the Final Fantasies, Chrono Triggers, just because they're so story driven and people have played them 1,000 times, or there's new people who haven't seen them, and it's just so engaging, and something how that's 30 plus years old is still kind of driving an audience and still has so many people's attention. I would kind of call myself a variety gamer too, but it's less by plan and more of, hey, what do I want to click on in my Steam library today? So it's just kind of, wherever the wind blows me. If I want something a little more, if I want to kind of put some blinders on, I'll get into a hardcore new map of Ark or 7 Days, or if I want to have something more casual, I may fire up a old RPG or a platformer. Still looking for the best controller to optimally play some of those old RPGs or old platformers, because getting the right feel is so important. It's the difference between having fun and just being so frustrated you don't want to pick it up for a couple months. And also just kind of jump on what Happy said. Yeah, I have friends that we've always kind of been looking. I have a whole GM kit ready to bust open for streaming, and also kind of in the when I find myself having some time, I'm also in the middle steps of developing my own tabletop game.
Ooh, from scratch?
Awesome. That is awesome.
What's it about?
A little bit from scratch, and I'm kind of taking pieces that I've liked from different aspects. There's a system, it's the Kids on Broomsticks. It's the Harry Potter system.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of changed it a little bit to make it, I wanted to come into it to make it, hey, there a lot of people when they see tabletop, or especially D&D or Pathfinder, they think there's this high level of knowledge that you need to have before you get into it.
Mm-hmm.
And from me watching a lot of things, especially the Dimension 20 crew, Brendan Lee Mulligan, he really has a goal to make it approachable and fun for everyone. And I wanted to make a self-enclosed game that was fun for everyone. And I'll just give you the quick synopsis. It's basically there are 8 different players, 8 different modules. You can run as a team, and you are in this basically old haunted town, lots of stuff going on. And whatever module you play, you have to not only battle towards the end game, find the clue, solve the puzzle, defeat the end guy, but you're also striving to keep your sanity. So harken from, Arkham Horror, things like that. So it's kind of like, hey, there's multifaceted. You can play 2 of them at a time. If you want to add difficulty, if you need to reel it back, you can scale it down. But just like, hey, I wanted it to be perfect for the person who's never played one before, or the person who plays weekly for the last 20 years with their same group.
I gotta agree with David Wilson in chat. If you need testers, what's up?
Yes. No. I'm actually just about to the point. I got crazy busy here this summer, but I'm to the point where I have the mechanics all set. I have the characters all made. A lot of them are named after friends and some other streamers that I know. And,
Awesome.
And me and my wife.
Oh,
so
Jesus, there's not a Miz Tracey, right?
There's not a Miz Tracey. But no, I'm just about ready. So I'm hoping here, now that I've finally slowed down when fall approaches, I can probably have some game testing here going shortly, and I'm hoping it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it sounds awesome, man. Mr. Urban World says all I needed to hear was the words haunted insanity to become interested. So you check those boxes for sure. What people should understand about D&D is that it's all about the rules. So like, you can substitute your own. So what we did at first is our table. We tried to jump in and start D&D with none of us knowing exactly how it worked. Well, we read for like 45 minutes and then went, nah, we're going to do our own thing, because it didn't make sense to us at the time, just trying it for the first time. So we kind of homebrewed our own rules and then took off from there. So really it's about story, and then, having the dice make sense anyway, whatever you decide they are, But that's amazing, man. I love the D&D talk. But Miss Tracey, go ahead. Let's start your discussion.
Okay, so first let's talk about why accessibility is important to me. A lot of people don't know I am disabled. If you see me in public, because I have a wheelchair in public. Around the house I can get by because I have chairs set up all over. But I have a disorder called EDS. That's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and just trust me, it's easier to say EDS. It causes a lot of problems because it's collagen based, and I don't know if you guys know, but collagen is like in everything. So it affects my brain, my heart, my stomach, my joints, just basically everything.
So what does it do with the cartilage?
So,
if I said that right.
Well, it's the collagen, actually.
Collagen, yeah, that's what I meant to say.
The best way to explain it is, instead of building a house with glue, it's like building a house with used bubble gum. Like everything's just way too stretchy and doesn't go back right, and just doesn't quite hold together the way it's supposed to. So I have really bad scoliosis, and like a whole bunch of problems with my back. My joints dislocate. My fingers are all weird and bendy. I can do things like touching my thumb to my forearm. My elbows bend backwards, just weird stuff like that. But when it comes to gaming, my biggest problem is my hands. I have carpal tunnel and arthritis in my hands, and then also my joints dislocate. So I can't use WASD. I can't use the keyboard and mouse. I have to use a controller. And a lot of games, like I didn't play PC for the longest time because I didn't know that you could play with a controller on PC. So like I'm just getting into PC gaming. I also have a little bit of hearing loss. I actually have hearing aids, but I never wear them like I'm supposed to. So like subtitles in games are really important to me. We'll discuss, like I've got an article I gave you, Stadia, right? That has like a list of the main accessibility features in games, and we'll kind of discuss that and discuss what else they could add and discuss which options are important to each of us. But I don't know if you guys want to share your disability stories. We can actually start with Stadia.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing with me. You can pass me on the street and not know that I'm disabled at all. I put up a good front. I can walk normal, even if I'm in pain. So not many people know that I'm actually disabled, but sitting for long periods of times kills me. I got to alternate between sitting and standing. Also, there's an element when you have severe pain for a very long period of time. There's a mental health stress there as well for depression and not wanting to be social and all those things. So I struggle with all those things, but mainly it's sitting to play. But the wonderful thing that I found in gaming is that the one thing that I can't escape is my body. I'm trapped in it. Like if I'm in severe pain or if I'm struggling, there's just nothing to get me out of the brain. But when I turn on a video game, I get into that flow state. If there's a good hook or I am very engrossed in the story to where I feel like I'm that character or I want to progress and do those things. I don't leave my body or anything like that, but I don't feel the pain. I don't notice.
Wonderful distraction.
It is, man. And I don't feel the pain. I don't notice the hours ticking by. And it's just a really good chance for me to get out of my own head and to escape my body. So video games are a very good tool for me. But I do have to be careful, from standing and sitting and all that. And for everybody out there, don't buy a video game chair. They are not comfortable. They look snazzy. They look great
mine
on camera. But you love yours? What kind did you get?
I got a Titan XL Secret Labs chair. We did a fundraiser for it, and my back is way happier in this chair because I've got arthritis in my back. I've got herniated discs. I've got degenerative discs. Then the scoliosis with 2 curves. So my back is just a freaking mess. And I had like a recliner chair and it was just killing me every day sitting in that chair. I couldn't stream for more than like 2 hours. I just could not sit there that long. We finally got this chair and it's super supportive and it's not like comfy, like you want to relax in it, but it's supportive and holds me straight and is super nice. And I got the XL so I can sit cross-legged because I'm a weirdo and that's how I sit.
You sit Indian style? Oh, gotcha.
I actually have 2 chairs combined. I took a office chair and this gaming chair, and I've actually combined it. Nobody can tell they see this, but I had to.
So you got the bottom part of an office chair, and the back is the.
I had because dude, shout out to Kevin and a bunch of people that got me the racing chair because it was uncomfortable, and then the chair it worked in the beginning and then it just got really painful, so I just like a mad scientist just took everything apart and put it together. So now
the bottom half is office chair, the top half is gaming chair. It looks cool, it supports your back, but it's comfy in your butt. Nice.
Yes, exactly.
I think we call that business on the bottom and party up top.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know. It's more, no, I think it's still party on the bottom. It's comfy for your butt. Yeah. So Happy, I met Happy. You caught my eye originally because you were representing disabled gamers in your stream. Can you talk a little bit about your history with that?
Absolutely. Well, I'll start with just kind of like my story, I guess. I have cerebral palsy, which is a pretty big spectrum condition, brain injury condition. So a lot of people are familiar with it, I feel like. If you're not, it's just due to a brain injury from one way or another. So I am in a wheelchair full time, and that's kind of, my story. I have the Bindi Finger gang. Let's go. Shout out Miz Tracey. So a lot of just, little things that are affected. But what's interesting about cerebral palsy is it can manifest, if you will, and be presented in just countless different ways. Everybody has a different, level, if you will, in different things. So that's my background, I guess. I guess as far as being a disabled gamer, I think it's really something I wanted to bring to the table today to talk about is just like really pulling the curtain back on what that actually means, because so many, if you think about the idea of being just like differently abled, listen to Stadia talk about his experiences and conditions is invisible disabilities and things are just so much more frequent and common than we really talk about a lot of the time. So I think I feel like we people with disabilities similar to my own, we have this tendency to just not want to talk about it. We find a ways, we adapt. I think that's really a human nature thing, right? We find a way to adapt in our own little corner, and we don't tend to talk about or like relate to other people, we actually could a lot more of the time. So kind of from the beginning, like when I started streaming, that's been something I wanted to be like, hey, just so you know, very visible disability here. If you guys have stories, I'm happy to talk about it. I want to be very kind of loud and proactive about that. And it's been really cool to see like just how many people have had an opportunity to be like, hey, that's cool, let's talk about what I deal with. And so yeah,
it is nice to talk about it. I get a little preachy about it because EDS is so like unheard of.
Yeah, I had
I've
never
had
heard of it until
so
I
many
met you.
doctors too have no idea anything about it. And actually, like, I had a lot of problems. Like, I had a surgery on my knee because I wasn't diagnosed until I was 25. I had surgeries that I shouldn't have had. I had all this stuff that could have been dealt with better growing up if I had just had a doctor that knew about EDS. So awareness is huge, but also being able, like you mentioned, the depression side effect of chronic illness or chronic pain or anything, or just having depression because you have depression,
Right.
anxiety, all of that. It's all disabling, and it's all,
It can be crippling,
yeah.
especially the social aspect. So like, I can communicate. I just had this conversation today. I can communicate and I can personalize with people and all that stuff, but I can even make it look easy, but it's absolutely not. I'm actually a social hermit. If it was up to me, I would communicate with my dogs and make a few phone calls a day, and that would probably be it. But thanks to gaming and streaming together, it really pulled me out of that. COVID hit, and all of us were stuck indoors. And I'm going to game anyway, so I figured, why not take that step and try to be more social? It wasn't about becoming PewDiePie or whatever. It was just I'm going to game anyway, and yeah, and try to make connections. And I met Ray, who's a wonderful person. Jeff, I met you early on before I even knew you personally or anything. I watched your Fallout stuff because you were one of the people that would display Fallout and not just shit on it.
I'm not so much like that anymore, though.
I hear you. yeah. Oh, me too. Me too. But at the time, there was no content other than listening to somebody crap on it. So I appreciated that and everything. But yeah. So the social aspect can be crippling. I die like 1,000 deaths in social conversations where there's an awkward pause or there's just small talk going on. It's just in my brain. Nothing's happening. But there's that guy in my head going, what? Yeah. Let's get out of here. I can't do much about that. But gaming in streaming really brought me out of that a little bit, and I met some great people. So I'm very grateful for that. But it is very hard to put yourself out there when you have a physical disability or you have mental stuff going on or what have you. So yeah, absolutely.
So that's why accessibility is super important to me, because I hit a lot of the categories that they have accessibility in, because I have issues with flashy lights. I don't have epilepsy. I think we're going to discuss a family member from one of our hosts here that has epilepsy. But I have motion sickness, so I get really sick when it comes to flashy lights. So like that is my biggest thing that I wish video game developers would take into consideration more, is flashy lights and the ability to turn them off.
That's a great segue, actually. Ray, would you like to discuss your son?
Yeah, I'll go right ahead. There is a few games that I'm starting to see that you can go in and do that. But if you guys know, I've talked about it, but my son has ADHD, autism, and he has epilepsy. And as a parent, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to see your kids have a seizure. So my son, he loves Fortnite. Loves playing Fortnite, and there's in the beginning when we found out that he had epilepsy, he's a gamer just like me, and he used to play his games, and if I ever heard the controller drop on the floor, I would run. And there's times like he siege while he was playing a game, he almost fell forward into the TV. I had to run and grab him and put him on the floor and stuff like that. So I had to, as a parent, kind of do research on certain games that he could play, and also had to find medicine to ease that and everything. But every time my son would play a game, it was stressful because the flashing lights, and he would be playing with his friends, and I could hear Evan, where you at? Evan, where you at? And he's on the floor with me holding him because he's having a seizure. And sometimes these seizures, anytime a seizure goes past 5 minutes, you better call 911. So there's times that it's gone to 4 minutes. And
now,
so
does that cross the threshold into a grand mal or something at that point? Or why is it the 5 minute mark?
Because it's lethal. It's lethal.
Gotcha.
And so and thank God my wife, she's an RN. She's been an RN for 27 years. I had to, you can't just be scared. You have to put them on their side. You got to make sure they're not biting their tongue and everything like that. So I had to watch his games. I had to see what the game was. I had to look at, does this game cause flashing lights and stuff like that? I had to be an advocate for my son. And there were certain games I said, you can't play this. And he's like, why not? I said, because it can cause your seizures and stuff like that. But it's crazy. And then as a parent, it was just very stressful and very scared. Many nights, me thinking about him and him playing games. He loves playing games. I don't want him to hurt himself. I don't want to hurt himself while he's playing games. But 90% of his seizures that he had was when he was in front of the TV gaming. So I had to cut back from that and work with his doctor. But guys, it's we finally found the right type of, he takes 2 different types of medicine to ease the seizures and stuff like that. And so it's been about a good year that he hasn't had a seizure. But I still have to watch the games because they trigger. They can trigger, and flashing, like even in the movie theaters.
I bet
you have to be careful with the movie theaters. When we go to amusement parks, you got the 4D rides with the flashing lights. You have to be aware of that. So, but just in accessibility games, guys, photosensitivity, and seizures, very important.
Yeah, man, I can imagine that would be extremely scary because you don't want to take his favorite pastime away from him either, but you want him to be safe, man.
They're young, they don't understand. And I would always, I would sit down and say, right now you're young, you don't understand, but I'm trying to protect you from yourself. I know you want to play this game, but you can't, because God forbid, so what would happen? He likes to play sometimes standing up. His hands would lock and he would like go forward and just start seizing. And so I would have to, there must have been 6 times. I ran track. I'm a little heavy, but I can still run 100-yard dash. I have jumped over furniture. I have jumped over chairs to grab him so he wouldn't go into the TV, or if he wouldn't go into, we have a fireplace, he almost went into the fireplace one time and I would have to just grab him. So, but
just watching somebody go through the event can be traumatic for the person watching, because
it is. But make sure, parents, if your kid has epilepsy, make sure you see what the game, see if the cautions on those games when it comes to flashing lights and strobe lights. Strobe lights are the worst. He watched the Fortnite concert and they had the strobe lights.
It's the white flashy lights that are the worst.
And he would always see, and I would always kiss his forehead, say a prayer, and then he would get through it. And he's like, what happened? What happened? Give me the controller. I need to get back and play. Wait, my friend's still on? Is my friend still? Hello, I'm back, guys. I'm back.
You're like, this just did that to you. You're done. You're done for now. Yeah.
So that's but thank you guys for letting me share that. Thank you guys for letting me share that.
Oh no, thanks for sharing it, man.
Gosh, my daughter had one single seizure when she was like a toddler, and that was like the scariest moment of my life. I can't imagine having to go through it over and over.
It went from every 2 weeks to every week to, you're in the grocery store, you turn around and you see your son on the floor seizing. It's scary. You go to a baseball concert. He played soccer. He had a seizure on the pitch.
And then nobody knows how to react to that kind of thing either.
No.
Everybody panics.
Nope. As parents, you have to be their biggest advocate, their biggest protector. And I retired. I retired from work to focus on getting him better. And so thank God no seizure for a year. I had to, let's see, do I want to be a district manager and stress at a job and worry about my son? Or do I want to just be there, home to take care of my son? And so I've made that decision to stay here and take care of him. I'm blessed with a wife that works, and I'm blessed that I've made certain things in my life that, I can help myself financially. But my son, I had to put my son first before my work to make sure he was all right.
Well, like David says, hats off to you, Ray. It's
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely,
also tough
man.
being a parent.
It can be terrifying. I my friend's mom, I watched her have a extremely bad seizure, and all you can do is move stuff out of the way and keep them from bouncing into stuff, really, and it was kind of it was traumatic to watch him go through that, because he was very alarmed, even though he went through it once a week or whatever, once a month. But it can be extremely scary.
And to Sierra's question, no extreme temperatures or food, but definitely sensitive light, strobe lights, and flashing stuff like that. And then not even it's not even just the lights. It can just, because it's the brain, it's like electric. It goes.
Now, does he get like a flash of something and know something's about to happen, or is it just happens?
You usually don't get a warning. Yeah.
You don't get a warning. It just happens. He could be eating, he could be dancing, he could be playing soccer. It just happens. You just gotta be there. And we never let him shower by himself, ever.
My mom has epilepsy, and I remember one time she was in the bathroom and fell and hit her head. Like,
oh, that could be so dangerous.
Anytime you hear a thunk or like her drop something, you just, is she okay? Is she okay? Because there's no warning. Nope. It happens.
It happens.
And then they're super confused afterwards, and then all of a sudden they're fine.
Yeah, very intense. Very intense. So Miz Tracey, what other complications do you have just trying to stream or do a normal day for yourself? I imagine it looks very different than a lot of other people's lives. So
so actually right now even I've got my IV plugged in. At some point during the stream here, probably in about 15-20 minutes, I'm gonna have to step away for just a moment to switch my IV bag over. I get infusions at home because I also have a heart condition where when I stand up, the longer I stand up, the higher my heart rate gets until my body gives up and makes me pass out. Wow. So thankfully, with my infusions and medication, I haven't passed out in like over a month. But I get a lot of moments where I'm super faint and I have to sit down immediately or I will pass out. So like I have stools and chairs all over my house. And then when I go out in public, I don't take the risk. I have my chair because
Better safe than
people,
sorry.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, and people just don't know how to react to that kind of thing. If I faint, I don't want someone calling a freaking ambulance or something. So I
Right.
use my chair. That and my knees dislocate, so it's hard to stand anyway. And then my back hurts after standing too. So just standing just sucks. So I get infusions at home, and I actually stream during my infusions during the week. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I stream while I'm infusing. One second.
So you'd be kind of immobile during that time anyway, huh?
Yeah.
Like while you're cycling and stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
it used to be that I have to sit at the clinic and do this for hours, but now I can sit
That's
at home
right.
and do it. So
Wow.
I actually have a port in my chest, and then my husband is actually the one who puts the needle in. I hold it steady. I have to have sterile gloves, and we have to do
Oh,
all this
wow.
like setup, and I hold it
Wow. Oh
steady,
my
and he puts the
God.
needle in at home,
Now, see,
and then
I
he's gonna
have
do my infusions.
a pump in my chest for pain control. It's a morphine pump, and they fill it the same way through a syringe. But I don't do it at home myself. I have to go in to have it done. But you mentioned that you had to educate certain doctors when you go to see them about the EDS and stuff. Like if I fall down and I break my femur or I break my leg and I go to the ER. I haven't broke my leg, but I've been to the ER for an accident or something, and they're like, "Oh, you got the pump, you're good." Well, then I have to explain to them, no.
That's
This
not how
goes
it
to
works.
one area, like,
Yeah.
and it's a tiny bit. Like I don't get groggy or anything like that, but it was just surprising to hear you did your own port thing, because
Yeah, we had to have a nurse come out and like teach us how to do it. It's crazy.
right on. Yeah, I had my back surgery when I was 18, and I had 5 months worth of recovery until I could turn my head and back out of the driveway in my car. So
Oh,
so at 18 I had to move back home, which really hurt the ego,
I bet.
by starting your life and moving out and then having to come back. But I got over it and I got through it. But the emotional toll, the physical toll, and the growth as a person during that time. I hate that I'm hurt and I hate that I'm disabled, but I'm grateful for the experience, though. It definitely made me who I am, made me grow up, made me look at life differently. And I'm very thankful for it. But man, I could do without the pain, though. Definitely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
One of the issues that I have with the doctors not knowing about it is that they don't know how to prevent other issues from happening. For instance, I had that surgery last year. I had stomach surgery, and it's a little graphic, but the wound opened
Oh my God.
because I mean there was like a hole in my stomach. I had to go to wound care and everything because the doctor told me she knew about EDS but knew nothing about it and didn't do what she
like
should
some
have
of the
done.
precautions that could have been taken weren't.
Yep.
Or something. Yeah.
Like I could have told you what precautions to take if you had just told me that, because she told me she was familiar with EDS, but she kind of like poo-pooed it. She's like, yeah, EDS, yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Glossed over it.
Yeah, exactly. And if she had known, she could have used different stitches. She could have done all this different stuff, and it would have been, it took me months. It took me 8 months, I think, to recover. And this was last year, not this past February, but February before, and I still have issues now. Like I still have pain and problems from it now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the kind of thing that if there was more awareness and they knew more about it, it wouldn't be such a big issue.
Absolutely. Like I said, this is the first I heard of it when you told me about the condition. And I know there's all kinds of conditions out there, but how many people end up with EDS?
I don't know what the numbers are, but they say it's very underdiagnosed. So they think there's a lot more people that have it than are actually diagnosed with it. And it's kind of like Happy was mentioning, like a spectrum disorder where like some people are fine, some people are totally disabled, like completely. Like I have one friend that I know that has it, and she's completely wheelchair bound, and she also has MS. So between the two of them, she's way worse than I am. And then I know someone else who has EDS, and she lives a perfectly normal life. She's just hypermobile and has a few little stomach issues and stuff here and there, but she's like totally fine. And then there's me right in the middle, so it's a huge spectrum of how people are affected by it.
Did your disability influence you early on if you were going to stream or not. I know you stream now and everything,
Yeah, well,
but like I
was what
said,
was.
putting yourself out there and taking that step is like, it's hard. It's
I
hard,
was losing my
especially if you're an
mind being
introvert.
home all the time, though. That was my big thing. Like, I am an introvert. Like, I don't like going out and being around people, but I love this.
Yeah.
I love this, being at home, being in my comfort zone and being able to hang out with my friends. Like, this is nice. This is something I'm comfortable with, and it makes me not feel so secluded from the rest of the world, because that's like when you're home all the time.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are like, "Oh man, it must be nice. You could stay home and play video games more and do all, like."
It's
dude, you
great
don't
until that's
understand.
all you've got.
Yeah,
It's great until that's all you got. And
it's
then
great
it's
for like a week or two.
Yeah.
And then
I would murder
yeah.
to go to work. I know that sounds so stupid. I'm disabled, but I would literally
know.
murder to have a job to go to that I liked showing up to for 8 hours
Just
a
have
day.
something
Like,
to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when you told me what you had, SPG, but
Mhm.
before that, when we used to game, I used to hear this machine like, and I'm like, what?
Is he
What
Darth Vader?
is this? Like, I didn't know what the hell that was until you opened up and you told me, and I was like, I couldn't tell. I wouldn't be able to tell. You know, I wouldn't know that. You know,
Well, before I got to the wheelchair, like nobody knew I had anything wrong with me, and then I started using the cane because I had the knee surgery that went bad because they didn't know I had EDS, and then I ended up eventually having the wheelchair. But otherwise, I look totally normal.
Right.
And I'm constantly being told that, and I hate this when people say it. Oh, you look too young to be in a wheelchair. I was like,
Yeah.
that's the dumbest thing ever, because
Oh God.
I know children in wheelchairs.
Miss Tracey, this is a little slightly different, but I've literally walked into a Walmart or a store and I've been in severe pain, hurting, and I look at one of those chairs and I'm like, people are going to look at me like, what an asshole. You don't want to walk. You know, just because you can't look at me and see that, you know, I don't have a back brace or any of that stuff, you know, but
eventually you got to put your body first and just
yes, you do. Because
Exactly.
I think Happy was mentioning about sitting so long and stuff, like what do you call it? I have neuropathy, so depending on what my position is, it's not so bad anymore. But I would go to sleep and I would wake up to my whole leg on fire, like dip into Satan's like seventh circle of hell hot. You could put your hands on my leg and it would be warm, like, and I'd have to, you know, you have to readjust and stuff, and then it'll slowly go away. And it's very much like the carpal tunnel that you mentioned that you have. Like, do you do WASD at all, or is it always a controller? Because that'll give you a carpal tunnel by itself.
Yeah, I have to use the controller, and I prefer the Xbox controller, the bigger controller. It feels better on my hands. I also sometimes use arthritis gloves, compression gloves. They really do a number if you have hand pain, but I also have arthritis in my hands too. So but I feel like even if you don't have arthritis, if you just have hand pain in general, I feel like compression gloves might be something to look into. Sometimes if my joints like get extra, like sometimes they'll just be constantly popping out. Like sometimes I'll go, you know, weeks without popping out my thumb, and sometimes I'll pop my thumb out like 6 times in a day. So if it's like really bad like that, I'll use KT tape to hold my joints together. And then my gaming is still kind of limited, but I have been able to, between the arthritis gloves and like exercising my hands and just grinning and bearing it sometimes, I'm able to game a bit more than I used to be able to, but eventually my hands will not allow me to game, at least with controller. I'll probably have to use like Xbox has an adaptive controller, which we'll talk about when we go through that article.
Well, I just love that accessibility in gaming is coming a long way. You like most games now have a colorblind mode.
Right.
They're really trying to make it accessible for everyone. I think that's fantastic, and all of us have different levels of disability. But I will say this: I have seen quadriplegics play Call of Duty better than I ever could. So don't discount skill when you see it either, because these people are so amazing, man. So amazing.
There's people that play games with their eyes. Like I don't even know how you do that.
Right.
Yeah, no clue, man. And they're playing better than I could with a controller. It's just remarkable. Go ahead. Any last thoughts, guys?
Gaming has also helped my son. You know, I've said my son also has ADHD, so high definition disorder, and so he plays. He not only does he have the Xbox or the PlayStation, but he also has a phone and he also has a Chromebook. He has to have multiple things going because his brain has to just, and then he does, sometimes he has twitches in his hands and stuff like that. And so, but gaming has actually like helped him, and he's extremely good with certain games and stuff like that. That's helped him with his ADHD.
Did you say high definition disorder?
Yes, he did.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Attention
I'm thinking
deficit.
about my TV.
He was, man. He was. He's
God, did I
having
say that?
flashbacks to his
Your kid is
Samsung.
part electronic. There you go.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
When I said that, I was saying, did I just fucking say? Yeah. I did say that.
Well,
Yeah. correct me on that.
ADHD is a very powerful disorder to have, though. I have ADHD as well,
Yeah.
and to keep your mind focused is almost impossible unless you love the subject. Like if you handed me a Star Wars book, I could read it and retain it, tell you everything that happened, the dialogue that took place. You hand me a book about something I don't care about, and I got to read a chapter 16 times
Oh my
to
God,
retain
no.
anything.
That is well, we meet with a specialist every Wednesday. We do a Zoom, and there's people that help me, my wife, and my son, and we're trying to help him with that and work with him. And and it's okay because he gets also gets teased at school a lot, and so we try and help him with that and help him build confidence in school. He's extremely smart in math, but everything else, is he needs help with. But gaming is his outlet. Gaming is his outlet.
It's probably a different subject for a different day, but man, I feel bad for kids growing up today. I have no idea what it's like, man. I know what it was like when I was a kid, and I doubt it's gotten better. I'll say that now with social media.
It's cool on the some of the stuff that I hear when people are saying to my son, I have to, hey, watch your mouth, or it's like, holy cow.
Yeah, it's pretty bad if they make you blush, huh, Ray?
Yeah. Jeff, he's mean too to me sometimes.
Go ahead, Jeff.
So I just want to say, I think I've mentioned this before. Both my kids have EDS. They're more on the Miz Tracey
No, Jeff,
side.
please talk about this in detail. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, no, I mentioned it before, just in passing when Miz Tracey's talked about her EDS. They can bend their elbows back. That's the one reason my son hasn't turned pro in sports. Because his joints can dislocate and whatnot, and the lack of talent also has
lack of talent. Don't worry, Daddy loves you.
My youngest son, he also has some excessive at school. He also had some accessibility stuff, so he had extra time to do things. He also has, you ask him anything, he can read it and regurgitate it, but then you ask him to write it down. And it's funny, when he was a lot younger, I was explaining this to my mother, and she just sat there and she went, huh. She goes, so when you were his age, and this is the 70s, William.
Yeah. They didn't have a pill for you or a diagnosis, I'm sure.
The teacher said, if he could speak his answers, he would get A's, but he's just too ornery to write the answers.
Yes,
down.
I've been told that. I was told that.
So in the 70s, we were just ornery and we didn't want to do it.
See, I was told, here's a drug as powerful as cocaine. This will correct you. That's what they did to me.
But yeah, if you, again, he's great in math. He's going to be an accountant.
Nice.
He's going to be an accountant because he loves math. He hates the HR and all the other crap that you have to take along with it, but he's going to be a great accountant. Obviously, they game. You've seen them game with me, and that. But that's But yeah, they can all bend their hands all backwards and do all sorts of weird shit with their hands. Because again, he's got the EDS like you. But again, doctors have no idea, and
it's not to the extent that Miz
no.
Tracey
And he's borderline autistic. He's got low deaf disease. We have no high def.
Low def.
Yeah, it's not low def disease.
I have realized as a parent, you have to be an advocate when you meet with doctors. You have to be an advocate when you meet with teachers, because guess what? They don't know. They do not know at all.
He had a whole independent education plan when he was in grade 7. And, because the teacher wouldn't read it. She knew nothing about it. She didn't give a crap. And so one day he wanted extra time, and she says no. And he goes, all right, I'm just going to tell my dad. And so the next day I walked over to the principal and I said, we have to have a meeting. Yeah. And just like you said, Ray. And so I came into the meeting with the teacher and him, and he goes, all right, I read his education plan. And I said, did she? And she just stared at me and went, no.
Well, there just so you know, I mean, in the state of California, there is laws. So my son has what's called an IEP. Yeah. So he has to. So he has. It's a law. They have to give them extra time, extra credit, and they have to help them. And we meet the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the after of the year. And so, so
he had to get retested once he went to college, Ray. They didn't accept the high school stuff. The college wanted sort of we had to get some retesting done. Which we did, and then the schools. So now if the exam is an hour, he gets like 2 hours,
exactly,
or whatever it is in order to do it if he needs it, right? It's all been online, so it's not been bad. But when he goes back to in person, if he does, then they have special testing rooms that he would go to. And even when he was in elementary school and high school, he would go to the resource room. He would go to other rooms to write the tests just for the extra time and whatnot. Right.
So before we get into that article, we have a quick question in chat to get back to the retro gaming for a moment. Best retro gaming experience you've ever had for Happy and Lighthawk. But you could also make that maybe like when you think back, what is the first retro gaming experience that comes to mind? We'll start with you, Happy.
Sure. I think this is a great question through what I wanted to kind of tie back in, which was like, we all bring all these different things to the table, right? And we all have different experiences, but like gaming is such an escape, if that's a safe word to use. It's such a safe place. It's like a little oasis from whatever we're dealing with. And I think that's what is such an important part to all of us in that. And so I can from a very early age, like my personal experience being I couldn't go out and run and do sports, but if I got into a video game, I could, I didn't have to run. I could fly on a dragon, or I could do whatever else, right? So that side of it is really cool. I'd say there's two a little bit different. I think my earliest I remember very distinctly back in the 90s getting the Sega Genesis as my first. Like, I inherited some gaming things, but that was mine. Like, that was the first, gaming console that I had for myself. So there's a couple. The Sonic the Hedgehog series was like the first one I got a hold of. So that's always had a special place in my heart. And I know there was another question in there a little earlier too about like the escape, like what can you really lose yourself in? So I've always been a big fan of the Elder Scrolls series.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice.
Morrowind was one of the first. I consider that to be like a very defining gamer title for me. So
same for me. Yep.
Yeah. So there it is. Yeah.
That was it was so amazing, man.
Mm-hmm.
I loved stumbling across the little things like the guy who falls out of the sky and gives you levitation pants or whatever it was. Just amazing title. Just amazing.
Good times.
That maybe more than any other title has really shaped me, I think, as a gamer. So both really great things. And I think that's important just to tie back into this whole thing. And that's such an important thing to differently abled gamers. And so
nice.
How about you, Lighthawk? Oh, you just unmuted, or did you just mute it? Yep.
Oh, there we go. Actually, I'm so used to hitting my mute button by myself. I'll answer all three of those. So my best retro gaming record, I think I am somewhere probably right now in probably close to 200, but I used to be used to be on the ranking for the 11-star Super Mario World leaderboard.
Nice.
My time was, a high 14-minute for it, but now it's sub 10. So no chance of getting that one back or even attempting. Kind of favorite one, I think, going back is, I just go back to, GoldenEye 64 in a friend's basement. Hey, no one gets to play Odd Job.
Yeah.
Slappers only.
Yeah.
Everyone
Screen
says
peeking.
that shit.
Yeah.
Everyone, no odd
Yeah,
job.
no screen peeking. And then the game that I can get lost in the most, that's so many. Like Borderlands 2, I can pick that up and do a
That's my favorite game of
playthrough
all time.
anytime. But I think push come to shove, Final Fantasy V, I could look up and it could be 10 hours, and if it wasn't for, hey, the little fur babies needing to go out, or having duties as a husband, I would be like, oh, I'm gonna spend all day in my basement playing Final Fantasy V, because with just how that game's set up, all the classes, the different ways you can do it, there's it's kind of like a lot of these multi-path games like Skyrim, Morrowind. There's like so many different paths to victory that you can choose, so many different styles. So
there's
that's
replayability too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you want to get to that article?
Yeah.
And then I'll be done with my stuff.
Let me pop it up and make it larger for everyone.
Yes.
I think
So obviously accessibility has come a long way. I think it started honestly with subtitles. That's the first thing I noticed, being an option. And now like almost every game has a always on option for subtitles, and a lot of games have SDH, so subtitled for the deaf and hard of hearing, which means they have like sounds written in parentheses, footsteps or something like that. So if you don't hear it, you don't miss out on that kind of thing. I think, let's see, we'll go down. There are tons. Let's see. QuickTime events. So QuickTime events are a problem for people with motor skill issues and with mental issues. Apparently there's a couple games that are really good.
QTE's QuickTime events are just that. It's a quick movement on the screen where you have to hit a corresponding button press to successfully complete the action. And I imagine if you have motor skill impairment, you can't be that
react
snappy.
that fast.
Yeah.
So some games are adding options where you like push and hold, or other, like they are taking out QuickTime events entirely in some games, like a lot of stuff like that. I think they were saying
you can turn
changes
QTEs
them.
off such as in Yakuza Like a Dragon. That's amazing. That's great.
Some games did use them as a crutch, so that's not disappointing for a lot of people to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
The HUD obviously being able to make your game bigger for people that have trouble seeing. So visually impaired people, it gives them a much better chance of being able to see what the game's all about. They also have colorblind mode. I wonder if that's later in the article. I think
it probably is. Hyper specific volume options. Yep.
Yeah, no, this is interesting. We have an issue with 7 Days to Die, a game that we play a lot, where the augers and the chainsaws are so goddamn loud. They're like, they're decibels above everything else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's.
So you have to like go in and fine tune like main volume.
Well, you can't unless you're on
can't.
PC and you get a mod that does it. So I've been really getting addicted to mods, making games better.
Making them.
And muting loud sounds is one of them. But then there's people, especially those on the autism spectrum, that have issues with overwhelmingly loud noises. So options where you can change things, or even just changing the volume of the music in the game so you can better, if you have trouble focusing, you need to focus on the talking, not the music, so you can turn the music down, that kind of stuff. All of that is accessibility, is stuff that people need to be able to enjoy the game their way.
Yeah, Ubisoft now, I don't know if you've played any of their recent titles, but they literally have like speech to text. It reads it to you, whatever you highlight or you're in the options, it reads it out to you. Yeah, it's kind of a weird voice that does it, but
of course
they did add it though.
Overstimulation, yes, Mr. PG. Subtitle customization, yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. So,
Mhm.
and being able to make them bigger and being able to have them so they tell you noises. That's all super important. I think a lot of people like they don't think about the noises needing to be on there. They think about just the words, the things that people are saying. But honestly, I mean, especially when you're watching like a horror movie or you're playing a game where you like a certain sound alerts you to something, and if they can have subtitles that tell you that, that would be a lot better
That
for a
would,
lot of people.
yeah, no doubt. Modular and adaptive controller in exclusivity.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, Happy, what do you use?
So I've really just adapted to using like WASD controls for the most part. A really big component of that, though, like disclaimer for that, is the ability to remap controls, because I'm
Button.
very left-handed. So I was hoping for a chance to talk about that a little bit. That's such a seemingly easy thing, you know. But yeah, for the most part, I'm a lot of PC, or I just like you said, the Xbox controller. I've found ways to adapt with and play with too. So it's funny for me personally. Just comparing just the differences. The PlayStation controller style is a little easier for my
Oh, really?
hands than yours. Yeah. So
I'm opposite. Yeah.
mhm.
Turn off
Yeah,
any
me.
visual effects that impacts.
Yes.
Ooh, that could be a
That
big
was
one.
Cyberpunk.
Yep.
That was Cyberpunk.
Now, see,
That was a big one for me.
I am extremely lucky in a few ways. One of them is I don't get motion sickness very easy, and I don't get like I go out on a boat on big water and don't get sick from the rocking and stuff.
Oh yeah, I get sick. I car sick and
But
stuff too.
so many people do that and get sick in a car and all that stuff. And the more they add on the screen with the what do they call it? The blur effect and stuff and the shaky cam. Sometimes that can
camera blur and
camera blur. It can literally make you sick. It
a
can.
lot of games have the option to turn that off now, which is great.
Yes.
I do have to do that thing where I have to step away for just a moment, so I'll be right back.
Oh, okay, no problem. I'll just go ahead and read some more of this. So yeah, that would be very handy to be able to remove that stuff. Effects such as motion blur, mouse smoothing, or camera shake. Yeah, that's the thing that gets me the most, I think. And it's only in like first person shooters as well, you know. Additional audio cues or even audio cue gallery. I think that is what I was referring to with Ubisoft. The way it reads everything out to you. Players can go in and learn differences between each audio cue. Interesting. Recaps, general glossary, and codex tutorials. I'm just going to read this section real quick. Speaking of glossaries, more games need them. Sure, most games have a codex that gathers all the intel, collectibles, or other bits of lore that players pick up over the course of their playthrough. But that's not what we're talking about. No, the type of glossary that helps with accessibility is one that collects all useful information on the mechanics of a game, such as tutorials, a summary of events, information, and appearance of important characters. Oh, wow.
See, that's great for me because I have memory issues too. And like I just don't
How does
retain
that
especially-
play in to your gaming?
Well,
because I can
sometimes
literally
chat is
play
really
it.
helpful with that, or playing with friends like Lighthawk that will remember shit for me.
Because the reason I ask is because I can play a game, like hit it real hard for a month or two and then not pick it up for 2 weeks. And when I come back to it,
It's like
I'm like quick shooting people and I'm like, oh, I wasn't trying to do that. And I'm just interested in what your experience is.
My biggest problem is between playing so many different games and playing on different consoles and all that stuff is that I spend half the stream like relearning how to play the game that I'm playing because I have been playing other stuff and I can't remember how to do stuff, and then I can't remember what's going on in this game. So when games have stuff with like, you know, a codex where you can read through and
get
remember
quickly
what
caught
you're
up
doing and see that kind of stuff, like that really helps me, and that's not something that a lot of people think is necessary because some people have no issue with that, but some people do. Oh.
Yeah.
A game that really does a good job of that is Subnautica.
Where'd he go?
They have a very in-depth codex and like a recapping of events and everything, so you can go back and basically reread from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's awesome because I like you're saying you can go 2 weeks without playing a game, and I pick that game back up. It's like playing a new game. It's
Yes,
like I have to completely
Nautica was
relearn it.
pretty awesome. I played that.
Well,
Wait,
one in particular is Red Dead for me. I know the controls. I mean, I've played it 1,000 hours, but if I go play something else and then come back to it, I go up to wave at somebody and shoot him in the chest, and I'm like,
Or
oh,
punch your horse in the butt
Yeah.
instead of getting on it. I do that all the time.
or punch your horse.
Oh,
Yes.
I get hit, kicked in the face all the time.
I know. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I get kicked in the face. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
I think that's the true villain of Red Dead 2 is that's the horses.
Your horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the villain of the story, that's for sure. But yes, complex colorblind options. That is very important for a lot of folks. I am not colorblind, but I know so many people are.
Cowboy.
And my friend was colorblind, and I didn't know how it worked. And one day I asked him why he had a mismatched sock, and he literally took time to be like, "Really?" And he was, and I didn't realize that was a big thing. So like, yeah, I felt bad, but he explained that he could literally, if they're the same shade or close enough, he wouldn't be able to tell the difference at all from pigment at all. So
And a lot of games started with like the red green colorblind options only, but a lot of people have other colorblind issues that are not just the red green. So it's nice that some games are offering like full spectrum of colors to change your HUDs and stuff too.
Agree.
It's all good changes, and like the further we go along, the more good changes there are. But it's just kind of sad because then you go back and play stuff, that's retro, and I can't hear what's going on. And
yeah,
I can't get the controller to work right because I need to use the right kind of controller. Just stuff like that. Like that's one thing that current games have over retro games is more accessibility options. And I hope that going forward, there's more and more and more and more until everybody can game.
yeah, absolutely. Because it's like laughing to me. It can be healing.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it can be. Like I said, I get in that flow state, and I can't feel pain. And if I'm not feeling pain, then I'm not, it's just not compounding and, all
Right.
that stuff. But awesome. Different type of assist modes. Game speed. That's interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting for people that, like really have to take their time going through, or maybe have to use, what is that noise?
I don't know. I do hear it a little bit. But yeah, so like what could this help with? Like somebody whose motor skills are a little slower and they need Mario slowed down or sped up, or
Yeah. Or someone who's not using a regular controller,
Right.
or even like we were talking earlier about people that can play games by blinking, people that might just need more time to go through a level.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting watching everybody play. When I was a kid, I finally got my mom and dad to sit down and try Mario Brothers, and watching them jerk their hands trying to jump was just so funny, man. I do me.
I do this little thing where like I go like this. If I'm like if I'm
Trying to
make
help
a
it?
jump that I don't think I'm gonna make, I'm like I do that all the time.
That's funny.
I look like a lunatic, but
Oh,
it doesn't
that
help,
is
by the
funny.
way. Just make it clear, it doesn't do any difference.
Well, I love the fact that accessibility in gaming is growing, and yes, the more people that can game, the better, man.
Exactly.
It absolutely is.
Exactly.
So thank you for bringing this up today, Ms. Tracey.
Yeah, and thank you guys for hanging out and talking about it. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
very important to
awesome.
me.
Would you guys mind? I just want to interject real quick. Would you guys mind if I just kind of throw out a resource for kind
Yeah,
of
Please,
yeah,
please
please.
do.
Yeah,
Please do,
absolutely.
Abby. Please do,
something I'm a big fan of. It's kind of new. It's kind of like just starting off. So if you haven't heard of it, it's a website called Can I Play That? And so it goes really, really well with the article you guys just looked at. And so their whole goal is to kind of review and look at the accessibilities of new games coming out. And so I'm just a big fan of the project. It's really neat. They do a good job, I think, of like looking at the things they do really good, and then maybe some things you might struggle with. So
You might be able to find some information for your son there, Ray, about.
I'm peeping it right now.
Well,
My-
if you could share that in the private chat, I will actually
Absolutely.
pin it in the.
I got it right here.
Mhm.
Okay.
My-
Yep.
my,
Just share it, Ray, and I'll pin it in the chat.
My
Got it.
friend Jim told me about that website a while ago because, and for those of you that have been in my streams, he's Jim Martin or Gingerhead Dad. You've probably seen him. And for those that don't know, his wife is the one that created Spencer. He has 2 autistic sons. One is very nonverbal. The other one is very verbal, as he says. And then she also had, they're twins, and she has twin autistic sons. And
Oh my goodness.
they used to come and join, and that was their Friday nights. They'd order pizza, and then they sit down and watch Jeff play retro games. So they were always in my chats and stuff. So Jim told me about this website a while ago because his sons, they game on either their iPod or whatever they have available. So yeah, he told me about this website a little while ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some of you in the chat know Jim.
Yeah, Sierra knows Jim from your streams, and we've all seen Spencer. He gets around, Jeff. You should tell us a little bit about Spencer, as a matter of fact.
Spencer's over there. Spencer is a crocheted snowman that Jim's wife made. She crochets things. She sells them on her website and whatnot. And the kids always wanted to know from Jim what Spencer was doing, because I had Spencer. I borrowed Spencer once, so I created an Instagram account for Spencer just so the kids could see and watch what Spencer was up to. So I post these pictures, as some of you know, and some of you, Ray, hate on Spencer.
It looks like a crochet Mr. Hanky from South Park.
It does look like a Mr. Hanky. It does.
Sorry, I had a bit of a cough there. Right. So yeah, that's how Spencer came into being. Was created by that and
Nice.
Jim's kids and his wife's kids. Again, kids from different marriages joined together. So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
and a lot of you know who've been in my streams know Jim and have interacted. Sierra Rose, Ray and William. You guys have all seen Jim in my streams. So.
All right, Ray, I'm going to bring out what you shared with me, sir.
Oh,
You're gonna have to explain that. Well, everybody's going to know what it is. I mean, as soon as it stands up, but what in the hell is this, Ray?
That is a voice command, $800 Optimus Prime, and you do certain voice commands and it will transform. It will get into Guardian mode, battle mode, and it can back into the truck and roll out.
Look at that, man. It's fully articulated. It moves by itself. It transforms by itself.
It costs
You
the
don't
price of a PC.
Yeah.
I want it so bad, but I can't justify the 800. But
It's $800.
Half. I can't even do half. That's still close
And then
to a console.
So you tell it to transform. It transforms. You tell it. You ask
Look at
it.
that.
Optimus Prime, and it gives you voiceovers and stuff, and then you tell it to roll out and it takes off. I mean, that is really cool, man. But I don't know, you don't need an imagination if your mom and dad buys you that as a kid, man.
Dude, I want that. Mr. Urban World, make it happen.
I don't know. Some of the fun of having Transformers is trying to figure out how to transform them,
True. I broke a few of them. What
Yeah,
happens
I
when
did
you bend
too.
him this way? Oh, he doesn't bend back. Damn.
I just wanted to be a car again. Snap.
Yep.
I mean, that would be like the perfect thing to put under like a Christmas, like under the Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah. But that would be your whole Christmas. Sorry, kid.
Yeah, right.
A little expensive.
Yeah, but Ray, can you put a price on content creation? The streams you would be able to do. Can you put a price on creating content?
Man.
Now wait a minute, Jeff. What kind of streams do you think he could do? He could unbox it, and then he could just show it off. What else could he do?
Oh, lots of things with it. Take it places.
Take it
lots
places.
And if you can
things
do
he could do with
Optimus
it.
Prime, you can also do all the other Autobots too, and put some Decepticons, like Starscream.
Oh, now if you could line them up like in the battle mode, on two sides, and then say, the Autobots and then the Decepticons, and have them all stand up and get into battle, that would be cool, man.
Oh
That
my
would be
god,
cool.
I want this so bad.
Just dancing.
It does look like he's dancing.
He says you say what is it, Megatron? It gets in like this mode.
Yeah, like he's gonna fight. Yeah.
Fight. Oh God, I want it. I want this
It's
so
awesome
bad.
until one servo strips.
Yeah, one.
One.
It'll fold itself in half and never open again.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want nobody to touch it. No kids.
No,
coming
it's
over,
$800.
nobody. Don't touch it.
That's 800. That's not going to be stepped on the floor like a Lego.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Man, that is so awesome.
I'd display it though. I would. I'd have that thing on a shelf big enough to where I could just say it and it would stand up.
No, I'll be walking by and saying, "Hey, I'll be doing all kinds of commands, get my $800 worth."
That'd be great on your TikTok live, Ray.
Hell yeah.
That would be.
That is pretty amazing. And
except Ray wouldn't buy because it's in Denver Bronco colors.
And I need to give a shout out to Mr.
Red.
Urban World. Mr. Urban World shared this with me, and I want to share it with all of you. If I had money and I didn't care, or like I had unlimited money, I would have 2 of these at my house right now. This blew my mind.
Oh, this is so cool.
Check this out. It is just an arcade stand. So somebody made like a Raspberry Pi. They created the base. They put in the good joysticks. And then check this out, man. This is so fantastic. Like, I want this right now.
That's cool.
That's not, just wait. It gets even better. So I love pinball, and I would spend so much money at the arcade playing pinball, and I loved all the ramps and the flashy lights. And this, I'm going to have to get this. It turns into a real cabinet, bro. Like, I mean, yes, it's a screen. It's an OLED TV or whatever that's right there. But look at that.
Wow.
That literally,
Crazy.
as you're watching, you can almost not distinguish that it's not a real unit. Like,
yeah.
The only thing they'd need to add is haptic feedback in the buttons, and
Yes.
you'd be right there.
give it the the feedback. That would be amazing.
So fun fact, they're 2 hours from my house.
So when are you going? Are you getting one for the man cave? Come on now, Jeff. You just bought a house. This can't be that much.
So it all depends, because you can buy the shell for whatever, a few $100, $700, and then
Put any TV on it you want.
Put any TV you want on it. Put a computer in it. Do whatever you want. Right. So fun fact, they're only 2 hours from my house.
Well, you find out about that, because I would love to be able to manipulate that screen and play pinball like that.
Wow.
Well, it's
man.
not just pinball. He was playing other games too.
Yeah. So any arcade game you could put on it, you know what I mean? You could actually play it.
Wow.
The versatility of this is amazing. And as long as the emulation is solid and foolproof, this could be like, I don't know. I would play this all the time, man. I would. I'd probably break it, sadly, but I would play it all the time.
I mean, I see that trackball, and the first thing I think is Golden Tee Golf. So
Yes, I know it, and I would play the shit out of that. I put so much quarters into that. So now that we're on to gaming, let me take this off for just a second. Now that we're back to retro gaming, what is your most favorite arcade experience? Starting with you, Lighthawk. What did you put the most quarters in, man? What did your mom pull your ear to get you away from?
Predator
Mine
versus
was
Alien. Predator versus Alien.
Nice.
I mean, beat 'em up. That was just, it had all the grittiness of like that era of movie, and it had such that clean look that, you know, they scaled up all the graphics for the cabinets, and I don't know how many times that I would just dump quarters in to try and beat it, because I have an hour and a half before I had to leave Aladdin's Castle arcade. And then if I didn't, and then it was usually my dad. If I saw my mom coming, I was all right. I knew I could milk a couple 5. But if my dad was coming, I was like, all right, I gotta drop the game wherever I'm at.
Game over.
But, yep, we're done. We're done.
Absolutely, man. I dumped so much money into Tron, Double Dragon. Yeah. Those beat 'em ups really took a hold of me. Like the old Simpsons arcade.
Oh my gosh.
I loved all of those, man.
The balloon pump.
Yeah. Woo! All right, Happy. How about you? What's your best arcade experience?
This is really funny. I grew up in a very rural area, and so trips to the arcade were very limited. When we had experience like that, I think we were probably like 10 or 15 years behind the curve. So it's such a weird experience. But I would say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for me.
I love that game too.
Yeah, we had some of those, and that was a good time.
Did you check out the new one?
I have. I'm a big fan, actually. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I played through the first level. I'm getting back to it because I enjoy that stuff, man. Even the original NES Ninja Turtles game, love the hell out of that. Even though everybody says the water level's broken, I don't. You gotta know what you're doing, I guess. But loved it, man. Miss Tracey, how about you?
Oh, well, see, I was kind of like happy because I live in Wisconsin in the middle of nowhere and there's no arcades around. So I actually ended up doing more arcade stuff as an adult. My favorite arcade game is actually the Halo Fireteam Raven.
Oh yeah,
I finally beat that.
Sierra and I played that. We went to a restaurant that had an arcade and they had it in there, so we were playing some Halo. That was actually really fun. Did you beat it?
Yes, I finally beat it just a year ago. I was all excited. We went for our anniversary to a Dave & Buster's, and I've never been to one of those before. And for me, we were talking about earlier with my joints dislocating and stuff, the big heavy gun was really tough for me. So actually, after I beat the game, I was done.
Oh, I
with
bet
the arcade
for the day, huh?
Day.
Yeah, for the day.
I was it. I couldn't do anymore, but I was so excited that I finally beat that one. You know, you do Dave & Buster's, you can just play for like forever, so you don't have to sit there and worry about your quarters. And
yeah, Dave & Buster's is fantastic. For those of you that don't know, it's like a high-end Applebee's with an arcade in there too.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's an amazing place to go. Matter of fact, I took a train all the way to Chicago to go to a Dave & Buster's one time. It's a much longer story, but yeah, we did that. And for all of the UK people that are joining us right now, you guys have one of these you could pick up. The Sega Mega Drive Mini 2 is finally coming to the UK and Europe.
Nice.
I don't know if you can. I mean, I didn't look into this thoroughly, but I imagine this takes real cartridges. I don't think it's a memory card. If it is, you could put all the games on there. 60+1 games, including all new ports, previously unreleased and Sega CD titles. Oh, interesting. Let's see if they're going to show us anything.
I should get Paul to buy me one and ship it to me.
Yeah. Well, I think they're here already. There's probably one in Canada.
Do you have the UK outlet though? Wouldn't you have the special plug?
Oh, I got those.
Oh yeah. You'd need the adapter, I'm sure.
I got those.
Fantasy Star.
Oh man,
nice.
They got a bunch of games on this one. 60-1.
Oh, so
Afterburner.
So it just comes with the 60 games. You probably can't put any more in it.
Yeah, I'm guessing that. Well, there's got to be a memory card of
mean,
some kind soldered onto the board, if not an actual slot.
I mean, I was able to add games to some of my minis that I have. So,
like the NES or
the NES, yes. Oh yes.
Hellfire. Looks like they got some good ones.
Oh yeah.
So if you are
my God.
Lightning Force,
love that game.
Oh, there's a beat 'em up style.
Yeah,
like Double Dragon. I love those, man. Russian Attack, all those, man.
Wow, Element Master.
Sega had so many bullet hell games.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Are any of you a fan of Metal Slug?
Yeah,
I love those games, man. It's just something you can drop into, and I mean, this was a hard title.
Oh, this sequel is one of my favorite games of all time. Tides of Time.
Tides of Time.
Yep.
Oh, I never even seen that one. Ranger X. Oh, Mech.
What?
Ooh.
Toe Jam and Error.
Sonic CD. Sonic was always cool.
Nice.
That was a classic Sega
I
game,
can hear
man.
the music in the background.
Yeah, Sega CD really liked that FMV stuff, man. But they had some interesting ideas. Fatal Fury 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Huge fighting game.
Who wants these hands?
Streets of Rage. Oh my god, loved it.
So amazing. Had so much fun with those. For RPGs, man, you can't beat Shining Force. They got great stories and interesting encounters.
There you go, the Tides of Time.
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
I never played that one. Was that as difficult as the first one?
It was super hard. Yeah.
Was it? Clay Fighter?
Clay Fighter.
That looked revolutionary when it first come out, man. That and another one was that Celebrity Fighter or whatever the heck it was, based on
Deathmatch. MTV
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yes.
Yeah, Shining Force 1 and 2, amazing games. I'm surprised they put both of them on there.
Ooh, Earthworm Jim.
Like, I'm telling you,
Love
if
Earthworm Jim.
if you're over in the UK and you like Sega, this might be right up your alley. These 60 games, they got some good ones in there. They really do.
Jeff, would you approve this? Because this is not emulators.
I have no issue with emulators for people. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, you do.
So here's the games. You got Super Hang-On, Truxton, Phantasy Star 2, Herzog's Y, Afterburner 2, Rainbow Islands, The Revenge of Shinobi, Hellfire, Granada, Populous, Shadow Dancer, Game Ground.
Desert Strike, Return to Go. Oh my god. Love the Desert Strike series.
Splatterhouse. Night Trap. That came straight from the Sega CD.
Wow.
Sewer Shark.
Oh man.
That was a very controversial game, Night Trap.
Oh yeah, it was. So is Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. I don't know if you remember that one or not. That's a weird game. Yeah, there's a literal game called Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, and it's an FMV, and it's very strange. But it's got Sonic, man. This actually looks like a compelling offer here for built-in games.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I'm kind of disappointed I didn't see Sparkster on it.
Sparkster?
Yeah, that's such because I know it had Rocket Knight Adventures, and then for Super Nintendo, and then for Sega it was called Sparkster. It's such a fun, cute little little beat 'em up. So it still holds up.
So I don't have specs on this, guys, but I know that I've brought up a few times some knockoff Steam Deck type console or handhelds that are coming out. Here's another one. I don't know what the exact things are, but this is based on a PSP design. It's going to be just like the Steam Deck. It's going to have a CPU, a GPU, and it's got a flip up, slide up keyboard like the old phones. But it looks like it's based on a PSP type model. And I love my PSP before Stadia and before the Steam Deck. That's pretty much how I played games and watched little movies and shows, man, was the PSP. I loved it. Go ahead. I'm gonna make you full screen for a second, Ray.
Tell us how they do that. Like, how would they
tell us about your PSP experience?
Loved it. When I was younger, at the airport, we're eating in the dental office, whatever, just pop in one of these babies.
I got I still got two of them in the queue ready to play. Yep.
Wow, yeah. And you came with headphones. I mean, you could load up a whole bunch of games on a stick. Yeah. Oh my god, this thing was
Now speaking of that stick, Ray, did you ever use the memory card trick? Like, you could buy this adapter that would take two SD cards that slid in it, and you could get two 32 gig chips or two 64 gig chips and put it in there, and you could have 100 gig worth of stuff on your PSP. That's almost the whole game collection plus movies, music. Like, it literally was like an all-around device if you ended up doing that and using a custom firmware. I did it for years, man. I loved it. All my nieces and nephews had them. We'd be playing multiplayer games in the car. It was really awesome, man. And then the Vita came out, And I've been watching the Vita really close. I know that it's really close to getting to where the PSP was for custom firmware and all that. So I'm probably going to have to buy one of them here soon, just because I love that stuff.
Gave it to my daughter when she graduated. I want it back.
Oh, your Vita?
Yeah.
So you did have a Vita. Gotcha. I'm scrolling down real quick just to see if they have any information on the stuff, and it doesn't. It just says it's gonna the GPD Win 3 featured an Intel Core i7 CPU and an Intel Iris GPU with 16 gigabytes of RAM. So it's going to be comparable to that. The only issue that I see with these types of devices is the longevity, because if they put shit firmware on it and they never update it, it's going to be a shit product forever. I mean, they have to actually improve it and squash bugs and stuff like that. So I don't know. Interesting though, especially if you can pick it up a lot cheaper than the Steam Deck. It might be
I didn't see Ultra Beast
comparable.
Well, that was the issue with the Vita, though. They didn't give it any attention, and then they just kind of let it wither. So hopefully, yeah, it's like if you have the Switch now the Steam Deck, and if they really want to compete in the handheld market, you have to come.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually that Sony hasn't competed with the Switch in some way. Like, really, the Vita was really like the last thing that they've done for portable anything, really.
Right.
Interesting, man. Interesting. All right, let me get that off of here. Jeff, we're to your segment, sir.
Yeah.
Will you go ahead and walk us through it and let everybody go ahead.
Well, for the guests and people that don't know, every show I do This Week in Retro, where I take each day over the next 2 weeks and take a look at one of the games that were released on that day, way back in the day. I laughed earlier when somebody mentioned Zork because I knew it was coming.
Zork, okay. Basically, Zork, GoldenEye, these are like staples that get brought up on almost every episode. Because, funny enough, you're like, hey, no Odd Job. Well, that's been said so many times, man. Like,
Oh yeah, I bet.
oh man, people loved that game, and a lot of people had very similar experiences with the multiplayer. Hours and hours of that stuff. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So this is
Zork.
Zork, little text-based. Again, as I always say, using the greatest graphics processing unit, your brain.
Yeah. So let me let's explain just a little bit, because there is no UI, there is no 3D anything. It's basically it's basically a tabletop, sort of. Like somebody's telling you an adventure, giving you enough details of a scene for you to go, I want to try that. What's in that box?
You gotta go north. You gotta pick up the hammer. You gotta look around. You gotta do, whatever.
Choose your own adventure book.
Basically, and you had to know you had to kind of know like what was possible. But that was part of the fun too, is typing in this.
And you had to draw. You always had to draw maps. You had to know where you were. So if you go, down to the creek, you got to get yourself back to where you were. If you get to a fork in the road, and then you end up, visiting me under a bridge.
So as an example, forest path. This is a path winding through a dimly lit forest. The path heads north-south here. One particularly large tree with some low branches stands at the edge of the path. Now you could say, past the tree, keep walking, whatever. But he decided up a tree. You are about 10 feet above the ground, nestled away in some large branches. The nearest branch above you is above your reach. Beside you it's just so cool, man. It's very tabletop-esque for options and making you think in the shoes of the character. It's, I don't know. It's really cool.
Yep. All right. What was next? King's Quest? Was that next?
Yep.
Yes.
King's Quest. Quest for the Crown.
What year did that come out?
I don't know. 2001?
All righty. Here it is.
1990.
Oh,
it says right there.
1990. Not even close.
Well, now sometimes Jeff will put something in This Week in Retro and I can't find it, and it'll bring up the sequel or a remake. So I don't think this is a remake though. Oh, maybe were you talking about the 84 version, Jeff?
I don't know. What did I put in the thing? I did that hours ago. I mean,
All righty.
I'm old. I don't remember what I did this morning.
So this is a remake. It says in 1984, Roberta Williams designed
this
the
was
first.
King's Quest 2. Yeah, that was number 1. This is King's Quest 2 came out 6 years later. It happened.
Just making sure that I'm on the ball here.
Yeah.
Old graphics, it says. It's based on the classic, and this is the sequel. Let's skip forward just a little bit.
That's okay.
There we go.
It's the end of Lord of the Rings.
It's how the Lord of the Rings should have. After the Council of Elrond, that's how it should have happened. Get on this bird's back.
Watch out for that Simpsons character.
I love these old games.
That looks actually cool, man. I don't know. I'd play it. I take it that giant back there crushes you or something.
Oh
Jack,
no!
there's the beat. There's the beanstalk.
He literally crushes you. Stomped her. Jeez.
He stomped him through the clouds, bro.
Catch the branch. Catch the branch.
No, he's landing to the ground, folks.
Oh.
Funk.
Well, at least
New
at
graphics.
least he found a hole to fall into. Oh, he's in the land of the leprechauns.
I don't know what you picked, Jeff, but it looks remarkable, sir. Never played that one.
Oh, of course, everyone's favorite Crash Bandicoot. I've played this many times.
Cortex.
I think I've played this on the PlayStation 2, not the PlayStation 1. But maybe it was on the PlayStation 1. I don't remember.
It was on the PlayStation 1 as well. I played it on PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot was a staple, man. And today when you play it, you might see through the illusion of the 3D because it's very narrow, but really cool game. Crash Bandicoot is a favorite of a lot of people,
including me.
You know, and it got the movement right, which was hard to say for a lot of early PS games.
Yes.
Agree.
100%.
Yeah. I still play this my retro streams. Still play it. Still fire up a little Crash.
Well, you did turn on Tony Hawk. I can't say you played it, but you did turn on Tony Hawk.
You're never going to let him live that down.
Never.
Yeah. Well, what do we got? Steel Rain from 1997 on the PlayStation. I remember this. I think I borrowed this from Blockbuster. Because that's what we did back in the 90s.
You had to rent it and then be kind and rewind it before bringing it back.
Exactly.
I never played this game. Tell us about it, Jeff.
I don't remember. That was 1997. I vaguely remember playing it, but maybe I'm mistaking it for something else. But
oh wow, it looks kind of like a tank game a little bit.
Reminds me of that PlayStation 1 game. What was it? Warhawk.
Oh yeah, Warhawk was cool, man.
Yeah.
I used to love those Ace Combat games too. The jet games. Those were really cool and fun.
Yeah.
I couldn't fly worth a shit, but flying through a city and shooting your rockets, that was really cool. Really cool, man. Yeah, I never played this one.
Yeah, 1996 is when I bought my first house. The one we just sold, actually, a little while ago. So I didn't have a lot of money, so I would go and rent the stuff from Blockbuster. Because all my money was tied up in mortgage and everything else. And so I just rent these games and play them for the weekend and bring them back.
Here's a question where I'm going to interrupt you, Jeff, for just a second. What is the most obscure game, at least in your opinion, that you've ever played? And that's for the panel.
Oh,
most obscure game.
I know mine. It was a fucked up game. Spiritual Warfare on the NES. My parents were very religious, and that was
your Bible game.
Really, it wasn't. I mean, there's Bible games that were fine. They're good, but they're cute. They're Bible games. They're fine. This one was fucked up. This one, you would shoot at the people that you thought were sinning, and it was very judgmental about the people. I'll just leave it at that.
You're the sin police.
who you're supposed to go after, and either they turn into a demon or a dove when they die. And it was messed up game.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Nice.
How about you, Happy?
Do you guys know the game Wick and the Fable of Souls?
No.
Okay.
I've never heard of that.
I've always been shocked. I guess that would be mine. I just thought that everybody knew this game, and the more people I talked to, no one's really ever heard of it. I'm trying to what to liken it with. It's a very similar to
what system was it on?
It was PC. It was back on my old, Windows 95.
Ooh, it's going back.
Yeah, and I believe it was like Xbox original as well. So I think that was the other thing. So it's very similar to like what's the one game? Or I wanted to say like Hollow Knight, but not quite. Similar style though. I just remember it being particularly very dark for my young years. So I think that's mine. It's he was a little frog fellow, and I don't know, it's weird. His family was kidnapped, and it was really dark, and I was way too young to play it, I think. But
how about you, Lighthawk? Most obscure game you've ever played?
Most obscure game. I don't know how obscure, but it's actually where I get my name from. I'm a fan of anime too. And so there's a lot of those SNES games that weren't released in the US. So probably it was the Tenchi Muyo RPG. It was only released in Japan. Later through patches, was there an emulation that was you could download to get the English translation, and then they refixed it later to get actual translations. So that it was like a little 7-hour RPG that it was like one of those strategy based turnstile games. And yeah, I don't know anyone else. I think like I search Twitter every now and then, I search Twitch every now and then. I've never seen anyone else play it. So yeah, I think that's probably it. I mean, I would say Daikatana, but that's kind of almost meme worthy at this point.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Ray, how about you? Most obscure game, man?
Playboy The Mansion 2005.
What? That's
PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Eclectic taste.
You played as Hugh Hefner, and you got to boink the Playboy bunnies in the grotto, in the mansion,
in the hot tub.
I mean,
that's interesting, Ray.
Yeah.
Jeff,
going like a bunny.
Jeff, how about you, sir?
The game I used to love on PC, Hugo's House of Horrors, that we always forgot about. But that was one that it was very big. It pops up in my list every now and again. But that was one of my favorites. But again, no one's ever probably heard of it other than me because I'm old.
Here's mine. Mine's an NES game called Arcanon. I don't know how you exactly say it. And it's like chess, but it's not chess. It is very weird. I bought this at a flea market. Was so excited because of the characters on the box, and I got it home and was like, what in the hell is this? But I grew to love it. I did grow to love it because there was like combat. So you could only move. It's like chess. You can only move your characters so many spaces and in a certain way. And then you actually fought the other character though. So there was a chance that you could overpower that character even if they had the advantage, you know?
Yep.
It was interesting, but it was extremely weird. Like so weird. Very, 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 very weird.
All right.
Pro.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, go ahead, Ray.
Hold on real quick.
All right. So I'm just going to continue with the next one. So as everyone know, I met Ray and William through cloud gaming, and everybody thinks cloud gaming is new. And I've been on a few shows. Cloud gaming is not new. Back in 2005, we were playing browser games. I was playing games on the mainframes. A lot of us played bulletin boards. They weren't local games. We were playing them off in, it wasn't the cloud. That nobody knew what the cloud was, but it was on another server.
I was so wondering what in the hell this was, Jeff. Now I understand.
So it was, it said alt.java. Again, back in the day, there used to be news groups. And that's how we used to download games and videos and images. On my 14.4 modem, I used to download these multiple, I'm going to call them emails for the lack of a better term as I fall off my deck here. And then then you'd have to cut and paste them, string them all together. And if I was expecting, a good, nice porn image, but it would not be that. And I would be very disappointed. And then if my mother picked up the phone, I lost the download and off I went and it was taken forever. So yes, So, folks, when people say, cloud's not going anywhere, it's been around longer than these people been alive. So,
okay, Jeff, I'm confused. Okay, if this is NetHack, the game you're discussing, what is an uncursed candy bar? That's interesting, man.
Candy bar that hasn't been cursed, and therefore you can eat it. If it's cursed, you can't eat it.
Right? Self-explanatory. I see.
You just go get cursed.
Yeah, what does it do?
Back in the 90s, we used to write code. We used to code games for the PET and the Commodore, and then everything moved into Java.
Is that a dungeon?
And then you write all these little games in Java. So, the cloud's been around for a long time, folks. And when, the kids are saying, console, I have my PlayStation. If there's people out there in New Jersey, like, I gotta have a PlayStation 5, or you're on a lesser, if you're playing in the cloud, that's a lesser system. That's a poor man.
I think we found something that you're a little passionate about, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
The cloud has been around longer than those people have been alive, folks.
Here's a great
What
question.
were you going to say? Sorry, Ray, I cut you off. You were going to say something. You said, "Hold on a second." So I
put a little picture in the private for.
Okay.
Okay, I'll pull that up in just a second. Here's a question for the whole panel as I get that picture ready. What retro game are you best at? And I will start. I have to say Bionic Commando and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I can drop into either one of those games and complete them. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, I got to warm up a little bit to beat Tyson, but Bionic Commando all the way, man. Drop into that game, beat it in less than a couple hours.
You don't do it blindfolded like that other guy?
Hell no. Hell no.
All right. I'm going to go next and say none of them, because I am no good at any game. Okay?
None of them.
Oh my God.
Well, actually, with the exception of early Madden.
Maybe not.
Whoa.
Wowzer. Yeah. All right, Ray, you're going to have to explain yourself.
That's Hugh Hefner, folks, up top.
This is that Playboy Mansion game you were talking about?
Yeah, now up there, it looks like it says it's the PC version, but I use the PS2, but they would, of course, blur the section out.
Sure.
But that's what was going on, folks.
This is like some Leisure Suit Larry or something.
Yeah, I've never seen this at any of my retro game store convention. I've never seen this game.
You're going to have to pick this up, man, and stream it and get canceled.
I actually, you know what, Jeff? I have the game. I'll send it to you.
Uh-oh.
Right. But you gotta stream it, and you gotta make Hugh Hefner proud.
Like you have to tell me to do that.
Oh, that's funny. All right, Jeff, here we go.
Where are we? Blade 2. Remember Blade 2?
Yes, I remember Blade 2, and I actually purchased that game.
Yep, I've had that.
I was a huge Blade fan.
Remember making that, aren't they? Aren't they coming? They're making
yes,
a new
yes,
the
are.
MCU is supposed they've already cast them, but yep. And that should be good. Blade was one of those movies when it first come out that really showed you that some comic book movies could be relevant. At least to me.
It was starring what's his name?
Wesley Snipes.
That's his name. Thank you.
I'm so glad they only made 2 movies of those. There's not a third one. They only made 2.
Yes.
Third one don't count.
It's like Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's true. That's true. Oh man.
The new Blade is PG-13, really?
Oh, really? That's a little bit of a letdown. But they can get away with so much stuff though in PG-13 now.
They might change that. I think some review board might change that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dude.
His character model is solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking there'd be Jaggies all over, man. That looks good.
Dude, you're gonna make me go play this.
The last couple of Retro Friday nights, I was playing the Jet Li Rise to Honor, where when you're doing stuff, they actually have a cut scene right in the middle of when he goes to do a kick, they cut to a scene and then have him kicking. But the animations were really well done, and this game reminds me of that.
Yeah. They really polished that game pretty good, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, he punched a truck. Looks cool, man. I never played this one actually. Did you guys enjoy it?
Like I said, during that time, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And plus, you heard the little voices and the sounds.
Yeah, no,
So-
it was a solid game.
I agree.
September 4th, 1998, Dune 2000.
Wow.
Dude, now, just recently they announced that a new MMO is coming out for the PC for Dune. The cutscene or whatever looked amazing, but it didn't show any gameplay, so I have no idea what it's actually going to be like. But that sandworm was intense, wasn't it, Ray?
It sure was, man.
Looked amazing.
The spices must flow.
I think back in the day, everybody played Dune, did they not?
I did not.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh wow, man!
These were my first. Believe it or not, these were like this style right here was like my first entry into PC gaming. Was stuff like this.
Oh yeah,
like StarCraft.
Yes.
Actually, there's
the Orc games or whatever.
Behind me, there's actually supposed to be a Dune poster. It's Star Wars, Tron, and then supposed to be Dune, but it fell and the frame broke. So that's that's the third one that I'm supposed to have up.
I love posters and stuff like that, man. That's awesome. I love. I don't know, man. We're not gonna get 80s movies anymore. Like I don't know, man. I feel like we're missing out a little bit.
Not if Taika Waititi has anything to do with it.
That's true. That is true. That is true. That's why I love his movies, man. The new Suicide Squad he did was just, it knocked my socks off. I loved it.
He gets it.
Yes.
All right, what's next? We're running out of time. What do we got next here?
Alrighty.
What do we got now? Ants Extreme Racing for the PlayStation 2.
Seen the movie, never played the game.
Didn't even know there was a game. Movie was cute.
Yeah, the movie was cute.
There's always a game.
Yeah, that's true. If Star Wars taught us nothing, is that there will be merchandise plugins.
Merchandising?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's kind of like a Mario Kart kind of clone. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, these you know what, Jeff? Believe it or not, these vehicles move faster than the Fast and the Furious game.
Oh, no, you did not go there.
I'm just saying.
That is true. That is also true.
It looks super fast compared to that. Looks
That
way
is
more
true.
furious.
Coming up,
Way
we got
more
something-
furious.
Coming up, we got something for Ray.
Oh,
Nintendo San Francisco Rush
Guess what?
2049.
I had this for my Nintendo 64. I remember going to the store buying it.
I had this one too, and I was terrible at it, just like any other car and any other game I ever played.
so good.
I
Oh
think
my
I
God,
played
Midway.
this more in the arcade, I think. These types of games. The Rush games. Maybe not this one, of course.
Tracy,
but-
can we talk more about your vehicle usage in games?
Nope.
Oh, I'm liking the sound of that. What's up?
You should have seen me yesterday trying to get through the mountains in the car.
Wow.
One word, gyrocopter.
Oh my god, I
Whoa.
can't fly either.
Sounds like me and Breakpoint.
Oh yeah, my kids would never let me fly the helicopter in GTA 5.
Oh.
Yeah, I love my Nintendo 64.
Yep. Put this in for Ray.
Thank you. San Francisco,
Anything,
y'all.
anything San Francisco
Yeah,
would go
you
automatically.
just passed, looks like the Quake Tower.
He did a flip in the air. I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know you could do that either.
He
This is
barrel
fine.
rolled, man. Yeah, he did the whole. That was slick.
Ooh, Blue Stinger.
Blue
Now.
Stinger.
This game, Jeff, you had no idea, but this has got to be my favorite RPG on the Dreamcast. I've stayed up multiple nights at my friend's house because he had a Dreamcast before I did, and I played the shit out of this game. I don't know if any of you guys have played it, but it is a pretty good little title, man. I had so much fun with it. Blue Stinger.
William, there is no limit to my knowledge.
No limits. I know somebody like that.
The long-term memory, really good. Short-term memory, gone.
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 Let me get to the game here. There we go. But yeah, it was a weird game, but it was a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, but see, back in the 90s, we didn't care. We played them all.
Exactly.
We didn't love or we didn't hate. We played them all.
Yep.
I did.
I have to say that this was my favorite RPG, but my favorite game on the Dreamcast would have to be Seaman.
Of course.
It's very weird.
Didn't he have a buddy with him that had a little a red cap, a hat or something, or he had somebody with him?
Which, this guy?
Yeah, Blue Stinger.
I think you're right. I think it was this guy in the beginning here. I don't know, but it is interesting. I beat it. It's one of the only RPGs I beat on the Dreamcast. Very interesting, though. Worth checking out if you guys missed it, for sure.
I never had a 3D. I haven't had a 3DO yet. Alone in the Dark, too.
Kevin's got a 3DO.
I know.
3DO, basically, I got one way after it was relevant, and I still paid like $250 for it. They were trying to move all their stock out of Best Buy. But 3DO was almost the PlayStation, believe it or not. It was like one of the first CD-based game systems, and like they almost took off. But this game, Alone in the Dark 2, is an also, it's very much like the original Resident Evil-esque type of game. You had set angles to move farther into the environment, and then it would shift to another angle, and you had to keep walking into the background. And then shooting was very similar to Resident Evil. And you had to figure out puzzles and stuff, very much like Resident Evil. This was one of my one of the favorite games I had on 3DO.
And this is also another game that was also they're making a new Alone in the Dark coming out in 2023, folks.
Hell yeah. Edward Carnby was an amazing protagonist, but the game doesn't hold up anymore, sadly. But I really enjoyed playing it when I was a kid. Because it really made you, like, if you think about it, this is way before Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation. And it's the closest type of game to that genre. I had a lot of fun with this one. Very hard to figure out, but a lot of fun. You had to go through a whole house. You switched characters.
What do we got? One more? What day are we at?
I think so. Nope, we got two more.
Oh, we got two more? What day are we at?
You're on 9-9.
Snake Man.
Snake Man for the Amiga. We don't talk a lot about the Amiga, but
I never heard of Snake Man.
I know Jeff has.
Is this it, Jeff?
This is it.
This looks like Pac-Man.
Whoa! What in the hell?
It's like Pac-Man with snakes, basically.
Dude, this
don't
reminds
like
me of if Pac-Man and Super Mario Brothers or
Had a
Donkey
baby.
Kong had a baby.
Had an ugly baby. Oh, you can eat them. I thought you had to avoid them. Interesting.
Dude, I got so many jokes right now, but they're so inappropriate.
Wow.
Looking good. I like it.
That's some reach. I'll tell you that.
God.
Oh my.
All righty, moving right along.
Yes, Lowrider. I had Lowrider.
Lowrider.
910 Lowrider, PlayStation 2. I skipped this game as well. What was this like, Ray?
Oh man, you just you had your cars, dude. Your 64 Impala.
Oh, your low riding cars, right? All those. From those yep,
Okay, so
back in the day.
I'm in California, guys, and what we do sometimes we hook the cars up with hydraulics and we make them dance, we make them bounce.
Yep.
You know, if you ever seen Dr. Dre or a Snoop Dogg video, you see.
Hey, now you got to be real careful standing in the audience when they're doing that, because those tires and rims can pop off and go flying. You got to be careful.
So they would have contests to see how high your car could go up, and also dancing.
That's
like a
old
dance
school.
off, a car dance off.
You're like tearing your suspension apart, man, like, or twisting your frame almost. That's incredible, man.
Oh, and then also the oh my God, the paint jobs.
Let's see what the game actually looks like here real quick. Is that really, you're supposed to be doing you're getting graded on your fucking hops and shit and your three-wheel motion?
That's right.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. I thought you'd have been racing. That's cool.
This
That's
ain't
like,
a race.
it's
No.
like drag racing or whatever,
Yeah,
but without
no.
shifting.
It's hydraulic dancing.
Yeah.
Front hop, 4-wheel hop, 3-wheel
Yeah.
motion. That's actually an interesting concept, Ray.
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
We always out here in California, we have plenty of car shows and stuff like that.
I never played this, man.
Another one that I don't see in the circuit when I'm doing the touring. Another one I just don't see out there, out in the wilds.
Look at that low rider.
Nice.
Wow.
So like lowrider sumo wrestling right there.
That's what it looks like. Fatality.
Front hop. Come on. And see, look, one
He said it's Tony Hawk for lowriders, he said.
That red car is winning, folks, because look how high he's up.
Oh, yeah.
Rear hop. Here we go.
Rear hop this time.
Dang, that red one is going to win, isn't he, Ray?
Yeah. Well, gee, look at his wheels extending out.
Yeah.
Well, that is amazing, man. Jeff, great job on picking the titles, my friend.
I have been looking for lowrider for a while. I just have not found it out in the wilds of Canada.
You haven't been able to find it?
I have not. It's on my list. I keep looking.
Well, thank every single one of you for participating in the chat and hanging out with us today on episode 12 of season 2 of Retro Rewind. I would like to thank our guests so very much for making the time to join us today and to share all the wonderful things they did. And Miz Tracey, happy birthday again. But we're going to go around starting to Miz Tracey and find out what everybody's going to be up to, where they can find you. And just a reminder that everybody's links are down in the chat description. So if you'd like to follow them or go hang out with them, please do. Starting with you, Miz Tracey, what are you going to be up to? Where can people find you?
We got a special event at 9:15 Central-ish because I have to go run and do something, and hopefully I'll be back in time. We're going to be playing Grounded, but we're also going to play a side game called Poetry for Neanderthals, where there's this stick. It's called the no stick. And I have to get you guys in chat to guess words and phrases, and I can only use single syllable words to describe it, or I get hit with the no stick. So I gotta sound like a caveman and speak good. And I get hit a lot because I forget that words have 2 syllables. Like the word other always gets me. I always say other, and I get bonked with the no stick. But we got the not safe for work edition for tonight. So we'll see. There's definitely going to be an 18+ stream, and there'll be some drinking involved. It's gonna be fun. And Ryan will beat me with a stick on stream. So and then we'll play Grounded too. And then throughout the week, I'll have 7 Days to Die, Valheim, probably some more Grounded, maybe some Halo. We haven't played Halo for a bit. You can find me on Twitch. I stream every day except for Monday and Wednesday at 9:15 Central, and I stream Tuesday and Thursdays during the day too. So hopefully we'll see you guys in the live chat.
Awesome. Happy, how about you?
Yeah, thank you guys again for having me. You can find me on Twitch as well if you guys want to hang out sometime. I'm usually streaming very sporadically, I would say, variety streamer life throughout the week mostly. We'd be doing GeoGuessr just chatting stream soon, so I like to do that a lot of the time. But yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for making the time. Lighthawk, where can people find you, sir?
You can find me on Twitch and on Twitter at Lighthawk14. On my Twitter, I also post links to my real job. People want to listen or not. I am a sports broadcaster by trade. So if I'm on the air, I say, hey, come in, join, hang out, listen. Yeah, bang, bang, Niner gang right here. It's football season, so I'm really set for that. So yeah, I just like to, you know what? I always say they're dumb enough to pay me to yell into dumb things into a microphone. So that's why I thought, hey, Twitch would be an easy transition.
Absolutely. I love it, man. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for making the time to join us today.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Ray, where are you going to be at? Where can people find you, sir?
Well, first off, I want to say happy birthday, Miss Tracey. Thank you for also starting the show off with the questions. Want to thank Lighthawk and Happy Chat. Do what I just did. I went to their Twitch channels, and I followed both of these gentlemen. Guys, thank you for sharing your stories and everything. Links are in the description, folks. Tonight, guys, I'm doing a beat 'em up on Ray 3473 Twitch TV. I'm playing Midnight Fight Express on XCloud Gaming. So I haven't played it, so I'm gonna try it out tonight. And then tomorrow, I'm doing some PUBG on my YouTube channel. And then just look out Ray347 on Twitter. And I'll be posting what I'll be doing, the shows that I do, and my streams. Thank you, chat, and thank you, panel. Peace out.
All right.
Jeffrey, where can people find you, man? And what are you going to be up to?
Oh, I am all over the Twitter and Instagram and Be Real and everywhere you want to find me. You can find me. I'm hoping tonight to. I've got a bit of a backlog of some Steam games that developers sent me some codes for, so I got to get back into some streams Sunday night. Tomorrow night, of course, is the Stadia community play of Wreckfest. Tuesday, I'm teaming up with my boy who came fourth in the Cloud Gaming Championships, Real Certified Hacker, and we are the best duos in Rumbleverse. So, and we take on all comers. So we will be doing that. Wednesday, we will be doing some Crata and Super Animal Royale. September starts on Thursday, and I've got all sorts of stuff planned. September Wednesdays may turn into the Avengers of Stadia when the new update comes out. Of course, Thursday, I got nothing going on. Friday nights, I've got Retro Gaming Friday night. I've now got a cube of game to play. So I'm going to be playing that. All sorts of crap going on.
Right on. Well, you can find me right here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 12 to 2. I stream all kinds of stuff. Who knows what I'm going to be streaming, but Wednesday will be Baldur's Gate 3 because I love me some D&D, let me tell you. Loving that game. Let's see. Every other Sunday, you can find me here at Retro Rewind. And every other Saturday, you can catch me on CGR, Cloud Gaming Reviews. So, all right, man, that is the show today, ladies and gentlemen. I thank all of you for participating. You guys don't know how much that fuels us to keep going, and we love hearing from you in the chat. We just thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Woo! Happy and Light Hockey can stick around till after the outro.
Later, guys.